think this may have been season 2 or season 3. It was basically a social credit system.
Yes.
You remember?
Yes.
I don't know what the lady's name is. Kind of Little House on the Prairie, like the grading that she's trying to move up in life. She's trying to get into certain social circles, trying to get a certain house. And so just like we have Uber and all these different grading systems and one another, this was it. But this was every single interaction. Every single interaction you have with a stranger or whatever, you give them a star of how you think they are as a person, who they are. And so she's trying to really, really do this. And she's got a certain group of friends that are of a higher social status. And she's trying to really, really claim that she's in there, get in there. And she has a brother, I think, and the brother's like, you're on some. Like, what you on? Do you know what I mean? And I found it interesting because there are claims that something similar is happening in China. I don't know. All I can do is watch the YouTube and stuff. Something similar is like a social credit system is happening. And so we bear witness to right now to Uber and Airbnb and stuff like that. And that model seems to work. It seems to work, like, all right, what do actual real people on the ground say about who you are as a person and your service or whatever it may be? And based on that, I'm going to make a decision whether or not I give you my business. So yeah, did you see that one?
I did. And I enjoyed the episode. And then I had, obviously the same thing stood out to me. And the immediate parallel, because it's obviously different episodes, some of them, I feel like all of them relate to where we are now in some way, shape or form, some of them more clearly than others. That one, I think, like you were saying, very, very self-evident that we're there. And as you said, bit of it, again, causes contention straight away, because in some ways, that model, as you're saying right now, does work. I jump on TripAdvisor for things and I might say, all right, I'm not going to book this hotel immediately just based on yada, yada, this. I'm not really feeling that. All right, good, I'm gone, Positives and negatives to that, because people can leave vindictive reviews. But, generally speaking, we can pass our way through that by reading enough to say, okay, well, enough people are saying this, enough people are saying that. Okay, I know where I'm at. Make a general opinion. Definite positives. But it comes then to doing that with individuals, though. Like you on the last topic, I am out. I am totally out. I'm already someone who is totally out on social media. I don't really exist. I mean, I have profiles on a couple of them, but none of them been used for 5-6 years. And they were only ever attempted to be used for business purposes. Like, I see that thing coming. I see it coming so quickly, and it scares the crap out of me. I'll be honest with you. Because the idea that we generate this system which forces us to care deeply about the outcomes of every interaction with other people, that forces us to look at each other in a more judgmental way than ever. We already have a massive issue in ourselves because of the nature of our beings with judgment, because we all have this plane in our minds, this story that's constantly going along that we tell ourselves, that we call ourselves our life. It's a story that we're constantly unfolding internally, regardless of what's happening on the outside. We have this inner monologue, and we are constantly judging based on it, grading different things, different people, different services, whatever. The idea that you kind of codify that into real life and make it an official part of existence, reinforcing that constant judging thing, that I think is something we need to move away from. We need to move towards an experiential paradigm where it's really all about experiencing, sharing, growing in knowledge. That's really hard to do when everything's a social grading.
How do you differentiate? Because you say sharing experience, leaving a feedback or judging somebody or rating somebody. Is that not leaving it like sharing experience?
No. Judging someone is making a decision based on limited data points, generally speaking, all right?
So you're almost kind of like, okay, so this is my experience here and here and here, but don't actually have an actual rating system attached to that.
No, when I say experience, I'm not talking about experiences and not in the way that social media people do it now. I'm going away and having a frigging Krakatoa Fire Island experience. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about experience of moving through life, understanding situations, learning how to understand personality types, learning how to navigate your way through life, learning how to find what peace is for you, what satisfaction is for you, what happiness is for you, what the components of that are. Be it having someone that understands them, having meaningful work, having being able to look at themselves in the mirror and feel that they are a good person based on whatever their experience has taught them that a good person is. It will manifest itself in different ways, but none of those have got to do with looking at everybody around you and judging them. Looking at someone, understanding a personality type, trying to get a deeper understanding of where that comes from, the basis behind it, how you then interact with it, or how you don't interact with it. Dependent. That's one thing. But walking around and being like, this person's not wearing the It's Jasper Conran, you know what? 4. They're going down to a 4, blah, blah, blah. It becomes a very surface interactional basis kind of thing, you know? Judgments for me are not useful. Temporary assignments, temporary, not even labels, but temporary, you know, classifying people under broad categories and then adapting that as you get to know them better and as you understand more about them, that's one thing. Snap judgments, rating system, boom. That's not constructive in terms of an ongoing conversation, individually or in society.
But yet you use like TripAdvisor and stuff like that.
Absolutely, because when it comes to spending money, you're going to do it once there's not a relationship built up. If I'm going to a hotel, I'm not building a relationship.
Your issue is more like on a personal.
It's much more interpersonal. I don't really have it as a problem for services. I see issues with it for services, but I see way more benefits. And I think generally most people will use those things in the way they're intended. You get loads of trolls. You get trolls anywhere. The internet generates trolls because there's lots of people who either 12-year-olds, you know, sitting in the bedroom going, hey, I'm gonna write this swear word. Or you get, you know, 60-year-old trolls with an opinion and a mindset that can't change and they're just going to throw out their hate on given things or whatever, or super positivity on certain things. But I think most people use those kind of things for services in a positive way. I don't feel that in an interpersonal situation, it goes the same way.
Once again, I agree with you. Right. Okay. So I wanted to ask you about the actual title Black Mirror, what that means to you. And then also there was an episode, don't remember where, it was how dating is going to happen. And it's basically just almost like a Tinder thing. And you match with somebody, whatever the basis is, and then you have an amount of time to have sex with them.
Right.
And then basically it's no strings attached. There's no emotion involved whatsoever. It's almost like a very, very, very predetermined, constructive, strong rules way of hooking up. No emotion. So the rules are no emotion. It's like you move on, and then even I think they provide room for you to consummate the do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you move on, you have dates. So it's almost like, what would life be like if we now were just hooking up, emotionless sets, just continuing like that? And it's interesting because as per usual, somebody becomes emotionally invested, but you got to watch it.
Okay, well, tell me what came out of it for you. You can still have a short.
I think that with the advent of dating apps and even the whole method, you know, I mean, it's a genius. The way that Tinder works and was set up is absolutely genius, because essentially it plays on the fact of, okay, cool, it's like a pack of cards, isn't it? You have
as in dating cards and swiping.
Right, yeah. Right, so it's a pack of cards and you just literally just swipe.
Right.
And what it does is it's so pretentious. It's like most people are not going to read the bio of what the person's like. What am I physically attracted to this person? Do I want to sleep with them? Yeah. Swipe. And so you'll have women on there. Like, I'm not here for the hookups and stuff like that, but that's what Tinder's about, type of thing. So anyway, any which way, this particular episode for me is just like an enhanced version of that. It's like, okay, cool. So how about if everything was, all the cards are on the table, and it's like, look, physical attraction's there, just want to sleep with you. Go out, we'll have dinner, and I think if I remember when they're having dinner, they might even rate them, and it's the rating is, do I want to sleep with this person while they're having dinner? If I remember right, it's been so long. And then they go and it's so cold, it's so emotionless. So what I took out of that is that the world could be going in that direction. I think there's always going to be relationships like what do you call it? Where's my vocabulary gone, please?
I know the feeling well.
Monogamous. It's always going to be monogamous relationships. It's just I think it's let's never go there. It's always going to be monogamous relationships, irrespective of this. But I think that this is also a new maybe framework, or not so new framework, for where it's become very, very accepted, where people don't want to, because when you're emotionally invested, things come with that, you know, expectations come with that. And if people don't want that, or for whatever reason it may be, that could be an option.
Is it something you would consider yourself using?
At some point in my life, I don't know if at this point, but maybe when I was a little bit younger. Yeah, because they, from a man's perspective, there can be complications when a man just wants that, and a woman, society tells a woman not to be so upfront with that. That's what they want. Do you know what I mean? So, swiftly moving on. One thing about Black Mirror to kind of wrap things up is that they're always ahead of the curve. Everything's ahead of that. Like they're pretty much prophetic. For me, it's a prophetic series. If you haven't seen it, and this sounds interesting to you, take your time, sit down and watch it. I've told so many people to watch it. They struggle to get past the first 1 and 2 episodes. Trust me, it gets better. Watch everything. Just watch it and take it in. I mean, it's years old now. It should still be on Netflix. I think there's 4 seasons.
I think 5 is the latest one's 5. I think
5 seasons. Yeah. And yeah, some really, 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 really great ones in there. So to wrap up, what's the title? Why was that title used, and what does it mean to you? What do you infer from that title?
So, trying to be real brief with this, my answer to this is a bit dodgy because I don't know. I know I've read somewhere or have been told somewhere something that Charlie Brooker, the writer, had said about the title. And I can't remember exactly what that was, but I know I'm juxtaposing that with my own thoughts. So forgive me, anybody, if I say now something that someone else has said before. It's quite possible. But for me, Black Mirror, conceptually, it's very much the title I take as being very much a TV thing. Like, in fact, I'm sure this is something that he said. When the TV's off, it presents a Black Mirror. All right. We watch the TV and we're subsumed. We enter worlds. When the TV goes off, what it reflects is the you sitting there consuming. And for me, that is sort of the essence of the Black Mirror. I think there's other ways, like the metaphors I could put on that to look at it. But for me, that's the essence of it. For me, there's something really stark about that image.
So when the TV goes off, I'm trying to get my head around that.
When the TV goes off, you got that screen, just a black screen,
and you can see your reflection.
And you can see your reflection, and it's slightly distorted, and it's darkened, and you don't see the detail. That reflection right there, that distorted, dulled reflection of the pure consumer who's sitting there literally consuming other people's content. For me, that is the image I have for Black Mirror. And when they show the sort of the intro screen for Black Mirror, and you hear the zzz, the static go across the screen and the crack come down, for me, there's something really that grabs me about that image. There's something about the broken reflection. It's reflecting the idea that we see the world through a bunch of other people's ideas, because most of us spout stuff that we've heard from other people. It might be from the news, it might be from papers, it might be from friends, it might be from a teacher, it might be from parents, but it's stuff that we regurgitate. And sometimes we take it on as our own ideas and then we spout it proudly, but we took it from somewhere. I love watching movie reviews, right? So I find myself watching movie reviews before and after I watch a movie. I watch regular reviews and I watch the spoiler reviews, and I have my own opinion, but there's other people whose voices I'm interested in, so I like to hear what they say. And I find myself sometimes talking to other people about a movie, and I'll repeat something that that whole sentence came from this particular review or whatever, or this pundit. And I realized, Jesus Christ, my ideas are not as my own as I want them to be. You see what I mean? There's something of all of that in there. For you, what is it?
I'll tell you what's really funny is I never thought about it. Literally, as we were speaking now, I thought about Black Mirror. What's the title about? So this is on the fly. Once again, influenced by what you said, because you answered first. The word black in the English language has got nothing but negative connotations. So mirror is reflective. And so if we're looking at us, it's essentially the same thing you're saying, but it's devoid of actually the physical TV. It's if we're to look at ourselves and the worst part of ourselves, what is it? How are we going to behave? And that for me is exemplified in the episodes. Do you know what I mean? It's like, okay, cool. And it's all the anchor is technology. Everything's about technology. Technology is destroying us. It's not enhancing us. That's what I'm getting from Black Mirror. It's destroying us, and it's going to lead to our demise.
Interesting.
That's what I'm getting from it.
Okay.
And so the Black Mirror is if we look at ourselves and look at the lowest part of ourselves, what do we see? Boof, there he goes. He shows us the episodes.
Fascinating.
So,
go on.
If you haven't seen Black Mirror, You need to see Black Mirror and just what just I know some of them can be hard to watch. Watch them and see what you can infer from them. And it's some really we didn't even speak. There's loads we didn't speak about, but
Tons.
So yeah. So anyway, this is Real Conversations. So we take out the con, and we're going to be very real with what we talk about. So it's Real Conversations, and subscribe, like, share, comment, all that stuff there. Tell us what you want us to talk about. That's interesting, yeah. So we can continue with this, and yeah, we will be back soon.
See y'all same bat time, same bat channel next week. Ciao.
Hi, you're watching a clip from a longer episode of The Real Conversation. If you enjoyed it, please like and don't forget to share so you can bring your friends in on the conversation. Also, don't forget to check out the full-length episodes at our channel on YouTube and get involved in the dialogue by commenting down below or by tweeting us at Real Conversation. Hope I'll see you guys soon. Peace out.